here's our introduction for term 2. Now, I know it's been a while, I know we've missed a lot of weeks, but like usual, we always have a good excuse for things we don't get done. We had our exams or mocks, whatever, AS level exams. It's the usual stuff, revising, practicing.
We were really occupied over the winter break and the first few weeks of January. But like now we're back. We're gonna go bigger than ever.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, so a few of the things that have already passed this term. The fiesta, which was actually last week when you see this.
Yeah.
And it was great. We had a lot of events, just like usual. Me and our deputy head boy were MCs at the fiesta. We had a bunch of lovely performances that we loved watching. Multiple singers, dancers, everything you could ever imagine at a fiesta.
Miss Freya did a solo.
Miss Faria did solo.
Yeah, kind of solo.
But yeah, so we've had events pass by, but now we're gonna keep you up to date with everything like we did in term 1. Our next episode, which you'll be watching after this, will be on Science Week, which is this week. Today is Tuesday and it is pajama days. That's why we're wearing our pajamas. We aren't just lousing around in school.
Yeah. It's
but
also Mental Health Awareness Week. We're not just wearing pajama for no reason.
mental health awareness.
So like we're really emphasizing the fact that you can be comfortable in school, and this is one way to be really comfortable.
Okay, so next week for mental health, we'll have Miss Annabelle and Nardos, our HBL ambassador for mindfulness, come on. And speaking about changes that we are going to be implementing in term 2, we're going to have a lot more learner leaders come in, take our place for a few episodes, talk about things that they are interested in, take over from us. And yeah, that's the change that we're going to have, and it's pretty much going to be the same. We're going to have episodes come out every Friday. A lot more fun events being planned by the learner leadership team. And so yeah, can't wait to spend this next term with you guys, keep updating you guys, and have a wonderful continuation of the season of SIA Speaks. Today we have our first guest of term 2, Miss Nurhan. How are you guys?
Thank you for having me today.
Yes, she's our head of the science department. And since it's Science Week this week, we thought no one would be a better guest than to have her. Okay.
Okay, so we're getting straight into it. So who are you? What's your role in school? We've spoken about your tenure as head of science department a bit. So tell us a bit about it.
So I've had the honor and pleasure of working here at SIA for the past 6-7 years. This is going to be my 7th year here, alhamdulillah, and honestly I can't be happier working here, doing what I'm doing, working with all the learners that we have at SIA. It's easily what wakes me up early morning every day, gets me here, happily so as well. So I started off as an Islamic teacher first, and then I transitioned to the science department shortly after, where I worked as a biology teacher, and I was a biology teacher at the time. And then a few years later, started teaching A-level biology, and now I lead the science department. A team of amazing teachers who are very supportive, just working all together, supporting each other collaboratively. Everybody's got confidence in the other, watching out for everybody in the department, and for the betterment of the kids as well. So it is very heartwarming to be working with the learners as well as the teachers to make every learner's experience a better one every day. That's it, actually.
Okay, so it's much of a journey for you through SIA, a lot of different things you've done. So what first inspired you? Like, what made you get into this position?
So, fresh out of uni, I think what we don't tell you is that once you're a free grad, people just stop telling you what to do. So everybody's happy that you got the grades to get you to uni. They're happy that you graduated uni, and everybody just stops having all these big expectations of you. and now you suddenly have all these options that you have right in front of you. So you basically have to rediscover yourself and rediscover your passion, especially if you haven't paid that a lot of attention before. So fresh out of uni, job hunting, I was really keen on starting something at unis, so maybe learning assistant or lab technician, something of this sort. And that's where I actually started looking. But God always has the best plans. I found a vacancy here, and I thought, you know what, let me give it a try. What can go wrong? I still remember my very first class coming in here, the year 5 class at the time. There was a teacher, Ms. Mukarram, who took me in and she introduced me to the kids and then just watched me work around with them. And from that day onwards, I don't think I ever wanted to walk out of a school or of a classroom. I think that's my happy place. Keep me in a classroom full of kids and just leave me to it. And I'd happily do that every single day of my life, inshallah. And as to what's inspired me to, I think you have to do it to be able to say it. You have to be there to watch it click once you say something, and that glow in the kids' eyes, and the excitement that they understand it now.
It's very movie-like.
Yeah, but honestly, it is like if that's what you're here for, if you're here for the kid, you would see that. You'd pay attention to this detail. You know, the excitement, them jumping up and down at something that you'd said, or them caring how your day was, or because they reflect what you do to them. So if they see you care about them, you ask how they are, they're just gonna reflect that back to you. And just like the kids need it, we as adults and teachers do as well. So it's a very gratifying job every day, with its ups, its downs, its struggles, every second of the day. I have something to be grateful for, alhamdulillah. So
how do you keep yourself motivated? Like you said that you've got your ups and downs in teaching. So like how do you not disassociate, but like how do you separate your personal self from your teaching self? Is it separate for you, or is it like one and the same person?
I think for the past 6 years, that line has been very vague for me. So I would define myself as a teacher, and still to this day, I think the proudest title I would call myself or hold on to is I'm a teacher. Not necessarily in the department, but I'm a teacher first and foremost. That's what I'm here for. So up until last year, I had a lot to work on in terms of time management, especially because, like you were saying, in terms of personal life, work life, it is very easy to get them both mixed up, and it's very easy for your work life to become your personal life, especially because I'm not working with papers, I'm not working with money or numbers or computers and things like that. That aside, it's a small part of the job, but I'm also working with other human beings. I'm affected by them, and I do affect them as well. So to me, the relationships that I have here, I take them home as well, and I hold them close to the heart. But then with time, I figured this is not a good balance. I'm not setting a good example for my students if that's what I'm doing. If I'm showing them there is no red line between when it's okay to do something and when it's not okay to do this, but rather to do that. And I think as an adult here at school, as someone that they look up to, I think I should model a balanced life better. So actually I'm glad you asked that, because this term I've decided I'm going to put the foot down for myself and work better on my time management skills. So be more organized, figure out what it is that works for me in terms of time management, because people go for checklists, they go for diaries, daily planners, things like that. And I've tried a lot of it, but except for the 4 squares thing, urgent, not urgent, but important, urgent. So apparently there is one thing that you can do in planning where you just draw a square of 4 boxes inside. one would be, those are my urgent and important tasks. Those are my important and not urgent tasks. And those are my urgent but not important tasks. And this is not urgent, not important. So you can jot all the things that you have to do down into these boxes. So you gotta get what's urgent out of the way first and what's important out of the way and all of that. So the idea with this whole planning thing is that to have a balanced life, you should spend most of your time in the important but not urgent box. So you're not always stressed out. You're working on something and you're making good use of your time, but you're not necessarily stressed out and you're doing it all the time. I haven't tried that yet, to be honest, but right now I've just settled on setting my weekly tasks that I have to do somewhere that I can see so I can tick it off and put down my comments, and so far it's been working well up until Science Week came up, where it's been crazy. Where it just has been Science Week to-do list and everything else is on the side. So I'm hoping this is the right way to prioritize things, but if not, yes. Oops.
I find it particularly difficult because like every day you have a different mood, and then to like work on the same work ethic every single day with your different moods, it's like a bigger challenge for me. So like keeping up with a specific like schedule is difficult for me to maintain. Because like one day I could get like 5-6 hours of work in during the weekends, and then on another day I'd be like, alright, I'm gonna do like 1 hour watching TV and then do 1 hour studying, like that. It's like, depends on the day for me.
But if you think about it, as long as your wheel is going, there's still some progress.
Something like the 1% thing where you work on yourself 1% every day.
But I feel like there's a toxicity around productivity nowadays. Like everyone who's productive has a journal that they keep. They record everything that they need to do when they've done it and what else that they need to get done. And it's the structure for me that I can't. I'll do it for like a week. I'll be like, yes, I'm motivated to do this because it's a journal. And then I realize, what am I actually working towards? Maintaining this journal, or like achieving a goal that I have to do? So like, it's the structure that is a bit iffy for me.
I think some people are better at talking about what they do than others, and that makes you feel as though you're not doing enough or you don't have enough to showcase everybody else. But it actually takes everybody a lot of time to realize that everybody is different. I mean, we can say it, but it doesn't quite sink in because you will still compare. Oh, I've done this, but she's done that as well. Why can't I do it too? Why has she been recognized but not myself? And all of that. But again, everybody is different, and we all have our time to shine and have our own journeys to travel as well. So you could compare what I have just said about how I started the whole teaching thing and being in the department and all of that to your journey. For example, it's like if you want to be in the same field, but nothing about us is the same. So even scientifically speaking, this is an invalid comparison. It's an invalid investigation that you're carrying out because we're different ages to begin with. It could be
completely different people, different environments.
Everything is different. There is no one similarity between the both of us for any of us to compare. And I think that's what we need to tell ourselves, that I don't need to compare. I'm different. I'm doing me. I'm doing the best for me. And believe it or not, you think as an adult you'll figure this all out. But I think
that's why you don't.
But it just comes back to you, and there are times when you feel you have to rediscover yourself all over again, and you have to work on things that you thought you were okay with years ago. But in our journey, there are different things that trigger different feelings and emotions within us. But honestly, my advice is, do you see what works out for you? Journaling looks great. It works out. It's very important to pour your thoughts out on a piece of paper and to see it right there in front of you. It can work for some things. It can work for some people, but it doesn't have to be you. You work different. So I think for especially as you guys, bless you, are growing into like the young adults that you are today, you know, carrying out responsibilities like what you're doing right now. I think it's amazing, to be honest. I'm not going to mention how the work that you have to do to drag me here, but honestly, it is amazing. You know, like I couldn't say no to how eager you were to do this and how responsible you took this on. How responsibly you took this on. Stay straight up. But take some time to rediscover yourself, to be self-aware.
Mindfulness, guys.
Mindfulness.
Yeah.
Hashtag HBM.
Hashtag HPL, hashtag mindfulness.
Meta thinking as well.
Meta thinking.
Mindful Mondays.
Yeah.
It's a Tuesday.
Okay. So we've talked a bit about your tenure here in school. You started off as an Islamic teacher, if I'm not correct, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
How'd you transition from Islamic to biology?
It's not much of a transition. It's well, linking comes a lot in that, especially at the time when I used to teach Islamic studies. We would link back to science more frequently than you would think. So they don't like they are different fields. They are, but they're not completely separate from each other. Yeah. So in fact, you can easily link.
It's like
the
two
both.
sides of the same coin.
It could be to rather your
Sorry, lack of fire reference.
But I think it was a lot easier than I expected the link to be, and students didn't question a lot. How are you doing both at the same time? Because they could see how we both link. And very frequently in Islamic lessons we would link a lot of the science that we would learn to this as well, because at the end of the day in science you're talking about life phenomena, life in general, a lot of aspects of it as well, so you can easily link both subjects to a lot of things as well, so it was an easy link.
It didn't seem like much of a struggle for you, to be honest, because I remember one class where my Islamic teacher was absent, and then they combined the Arabic, and it seemed like it was just like you explaining it to a bunch of friends, like, alright, this is what Hajj is. I remember that class so well. And I was like, alright, I wish you were my Islamic teacher.
That
so
was your 7, wasn't it?
I don't remember, but like it was Hajj, and I remember you were talking about all the steps and everything. But like even for bio,
Yeah, you're 9. It was before. It was before.
That's what I got. Yeah.
anyway, so like even in like biology, everyone said this. Everyone like believes this, that like you're the best bio teacher out there, because we all like do see and acknowledge the amount of work you put in, the amount of effort during the week. I remember during the weekends of GCSE for the single school days,
Fridays?
like 5 a.m. on a Friday or something.
To this day,
Like-
best times ever. I think that's where my back problem started, but it was
No, and like, it was 5 a.m. because
we got the grade.
yeah, like it's the amount of effort and stuff that goes into teaching a subject that we see from you, and how you paid attention to each and every student and what their needs were, and especially during exams and during that stressful period, and you were there for us. So yeah, putting it out there that we do acknowledge that.
But I think you guys just make it a lot easier. You know, just not just being grateful, but again, if I tell myself, if those kids are prepared to go that length, I should go further, because that's what they deserve. The best, nothing short of the best. And honestly, like the hurtful truth is that we don't always do our best for whatever reason, like what you were saying earlier about how we don't always function 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, me not doing my homework or like an assignment that I have or something is just gonna affect me. But going into school every day, I know that if I'm not doing it on, it's not me, it's my learners who are coming to class expecting the best of me. And at many a times I fall short. And I think, well, again, putting it out there, I apologize to all of my learners for any shortcoming, because regardless of how good the learning experience is, there are days when we fall short.
Yeah.
But you have to see the sympathy in their eyes. When you see your child, I swear to God, it's like they understand
Really?
so much. Yeah, and, okay, it's not just for the sake of wasting the lesson time, but generally it's like, miss, we get it. It's okay. Like, we know this is not the norm. We know why.
Yeah.
So again, that's one of the perks of working with human beings, because we're all relatable. And I think once as teachers we realize this, we stop coming to work. We start coming into criticism, another home. But it is true, because I just left my family there. I'm coming to my family here as well.
So it's the same for students too, because if you're spending half of your life at least till 13 or whatever, like it's like another family. You're just coming to a different.
Yes.
My classroom is my room, my whatever. Like it's like
So I've had my form class. Again, this is one of my proudest titles, hands down.
Yeah, your kids.
Being their form teacher.
Yeah.
Look, everybody is my kid. But I've had it for 6 years. And you know, they're graduating this year, inshallah. I think once I know that each one of them has a place at a uni that you want to go to, study what they love, and have easily just fulfilled my calling as a teacher. I think I've done it. I've checked one of the most important boxes in my life. It, hands down, will be, inshallah, my biggest achievement by far.
Speaking of biggest achievements, have you found out the meaning to science yet? In your 6 years?
Well. To be completely honest, because I teach biology and I can do a bit of chemistry as well. Physics, on the other hand, is I did well. And
Physics is
but I think just because I didn't go further, so the rest of it has just became like a
blurred out.
yeah.
There's like, yeah, it's there somewhere, but I don't know where it is.
Yeah, it's like a complete unknown, like a big fat question mark on that side of physics that I haven't learned before. But I listen to the kids explaining to each other. I don't get it still, but I see them nodding and I see them discussing back and forth.
Yeah.
And it just, it's a big deal. It's because they say science is the study of life in different aspects though. And just like we were saying earlier about Islamic and science, but also the three sciences that we talk about in class. So I'll just talk exclusively about biology until I have to touch on some chemistry there as well for them to understand. And chemistry will teach just chemistry, Islamia will just teach just chemistry until she has to touch on something in physics. So it works like that, and you think, you know, we can do it all, but actually, each of them is a separate discipline of its own, and for the big part it is. But eventually we're talking about the same thing still. So if you're talking about biological molecules for your 10 learners, it takes them a while, but eventually they understand how biological molecules, molecules is chemistry, so it means it has a structure.
It's all connected.
Yes, and those food tests that we do, the colors that I see, hey, that's a chemical reaction that happens. And you know, increasing the temperature, something about enzyme denaturing, that means there is a bond that's broken. Chemistry, again.
Major flashbacks.
Yes.
Well, I like iodine and all the starch and everything coming in my
Those
head.
are chemical reactions. Yeah. So, I think I can't pinpoint one definition for science, but
Study of life.
it is the study of life from just different angles. So like, you know, you're zooming in on this part, but then in the other science you zoom in
You've
on
got the camera going,
So I think the students who do the three sciences altogether, if they, you know, if they truly understand, they would eventually see the link between three of them, and they would be a student of science. And that's the aim, hopefully.
Alright, so now our last topic of discussion, finally, Science Week, which we've all been waiting for. We're always waiting for it every year, just like every other subject's week. But what's the agenda? We know that we have science fair going on for these yesterday and today, which is Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah. Well, in my years as head of department, I started off in the year of COVID. We managed to pull some activities together online. The kids have done amazing. We had a lot of debates and all of that. And then last year as well, I think some kids were hybrid. We'd go online every once in a while. So we resorted to students working on projects and again, class competitions and the rest of it. But there was always that thing that, hey, when is science fair happening again? Because the amazing Scarly, the previous head of science, would, without fail, carry out a science fair every single year, and that would be the highlight of the week. Everybody's waiting for that. Everybody's waiting to showcase what they've done. Everybody's waiting to walk in and watch what their friends have done. So this year is my first year to do something similar, in the sense that we're setting something up for the whole of secondary, where they go in and instead of them showcasing some of their work, we have kept some challenges for them to carry out. So we have a range of different activities that touch on biology, chemistry and physics. Students have to collaborate in their groups and work on the challenges provided to them. For sure, use their middle thinking, linking as well, the questioning each other, and then once you go through all the stages and they have achieved everything there is to be achieved in the fair, they get stamps, and then right now we're just waiting on the winners for this part. Now maybe the most exciting part of the Science Week this time around as well is the trips. It is also my first time sending all of secondary on trips, so you can only imagine my anxiety Sunday night before the start of the one. But again, so I'm really grateful for everybody doing the part, and it helped it go smoother than I'd expected, to be honest. So I'm really grateful for the whole science team, Ms. Sharika for sure, Ms. Amani, Ms. Sana, Ms. Maria, Ms. Sheila, Ms. Berdan, helping out, doing their part, and making sure that the learners get the best experience that they can throughout the Science Week. So hopefully this time around, inshallah, we're going to make it a memorable one. And just the cherry on top is the year 11 to 13 learners going on a trip to Ferrari World in Abu Dhabi. Tomorrow, inshallah. So hoping for that to go well.
So the year 8 and 9, or 7 and 8 going to...
7, 8, 9 have gone, 7, 8, 9 and 10 have gone to Expo, where they, 7 and 8 have worked on or watched the show, a Would You Rather show that shows different scenarios for different choices that we do to the earth and the environment. So it's linked to sustainability as well, so to embed some sustainable behaviors in their everyday life. And years 9 and 10 are doing a robotics workshop where they have a hands-on experience with some of the tech there, putting together their own robots and all of that. So the kids come back really excited, and I'm looking forward to seeing their faces today.
I'm so hyped about tomorrow. I can't stop
It's also Mental Health Week this week, so we've spoken a bit about mindfulness and sustainability and all that stuff. So I just wanted to get your response on your mental health and how it's really important for you.
Well, again, like I said earlier, I think having struggled a lot with time management, maybe the workload, just being overwhelmed with life in general, pretty much like everybody else. But I think working on my time management this term especially, thank God, has helped me a lot be calmer and actually find time to think about my mental health in a way. So I'm trying to be a bit more conscious, during times of during prayers, for example, or being in the moment and not really worrying about the future a lot, because I just found myself looking forward to planning the Science Week, looking forward to it going well, looking forward to it being over just so I know it's sorted, looking forward to everybody coming back safe from the trip tomorrow. So I think all of that, I'm like, what about now, where I can actually enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
So like right now, I'm looking forward to making sure that the science fair at the moment is going well, while I could just, let this sink in and trust that it's going well on the other side, because my amazing team is handling it well. Obviously, alhamdulillah. So it is a journey. I think I'm in a good place right now, but again, triggers throughout. So I think it's a constant journey for everyone.
Okay, I guess this concludes this week's episode for SIA Speaks with the lovely Ms. Nurhan, who will always be a learner favorite. But see you in our next week's episode. Thank you.